Wow, it's been a hot minute since I've been in front of the camera, and my uploading's bad, but New Dawn finally went up the other day. I don't know if you guys expect me to upload more, but that seems to be what I always say I'm going to do, and then it never seems to happen. But anyways, we're not going to go down this hole. Welcome to a brand new video, guys. Today we're going to be talking about last night's episode of Friday Night Smackdown on Fox, and I was actually looking forward to Smackdown, and that is until I actually remembered it was happening. It was kind of like halfway through the day, and I was like, oh yeah, Smackdown moved to Fridays now because I'm just so used to having it on Tuesday nights. I completely forgot that it was happening last night. Although once I do remember, I did tune in. And I did watch the full episode, didn't really pay attention too much because honestly it was kind of boring. But we're going to get into it. We're going to talk about all the highlights and stuff like that. My opinions on why Smackdown on Fox was like mediocre and kind of like subverted expectations. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and get into this video. So the big draw point this week for Smackdown was Roman Reigns taking on Shinsuke Nakamura for the Intercontinental Championship. And when this match got announced, I kind of groaned, but I was kind of excited at the same time. It's Roman and Shinsuke. I like both of them. They can obviously put on a pretty good match together. The only thing I was worried about was this match didn't really have any build, and Shinsuke was probably going to drop the title with no real build up to the feud, and then probably fade into nothingness on SmackDown because it's the shorter show and they're obviously going to be focusing on the bigger stars there on Fox. So I was just worried that Shinsuke is just going to drop the title and then kind of fade into nothingness and be just like another background character over on SmackDown. But at the same time, I was excited that Roman Reigns would be holding the title because that's going to obviously elevate it. And since Brock Lesnar's not around, the Intercontinental title should be elevated to be like close to the top prize on SmackDown. Well, Lesnar isn't here week in and week out like the other superstars are. They need something to fight for. And Roman Reigns is the perfect guy to elevate the Intercontinental Championship. He can put on a good match with just about anybody and make that title feel really important. We haven't had Roman Reigns have a title reign in about a year, but at the same time, I didn't want Shinsuke to drop it, so I was kind of like, oh, I don't really know what I want to happen here, because I feel like Shinsuke really deserves better than what he's been getting, and I want to see him featured more. I want to see Sami Zayn wrestling again. Hopefully the two of them, their whole pairing leads to like a match between the two of them, because their match in NXT was insane, but at the same time, it probably won't be as good. But anyway, SmackDown did kick off with Roman Reigns versus Shinsuke Nakamura. What's going to happen? Is Shinsuke going to drop the belt and Roman's going to elevate it, or is Shinsuke going to keep it and hopefully get elevated a little bit himself? No, Baron Corbin interferes and attacks Roman Reigns because he's mad that Roman was drafted higher than him, and it was kind of just really cringy. Why did this need to happen? Daniel Bryan came down for the save. Corbin, Zayn, and Nakamura were left standing though, and that was the end of the whole kickoff segment. But it was announced later in the night that Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan would be teaming up to take on Baron Corbin and Shinsuke Nakamura, because one's the king of strong style and one's the king of the ring. And of course, that match would main event the show later on, and Roman and Daniel Bryan would win, and that would just kind of be another pointless thrown together tag team match main event with no real build, nothing to really expect next week or the upcoming pay-per-views, even though we've got that Saudi blood show to look forward to next week. Which, by the way, Roman Reigns has been made the new team captain of Team Hogan since Seth Rollins has been pulled for his match with The Fiend, as well as Mustafa Ali and Chad Gable being added to that match. And man, I feel bad for Ali because I know for a fact he doesn't want to be on that team. I'm a big fan of Ali, and he tweeted this interesting thing out where he was like, a real American and Hulk Hogan, kind of a little bit of a jab, I think. Just knowing the person that Ali is, I really doubt that he even wants to be on that team, and I'm not supporting Hulk Hogan whatsoever, but we're just going to have to deal with it. He had like a little Skype segment. I don't want to talk anymore about Hulk Hogan, so we're just going to move on from that. I think probably the best segment of the show was Bayley and Sasha Banks over on Miz TV, and I think someone tweeted this, I don't remember who, but when's the last time we really saw Miz in a feud and doing much of anything aside from Miz TV? I don't think I can really remember. But anyways, Bayley had new music, of course her new look, and the music's okay. I think it kind of needs lyrics or something a little bit more to it. But overall, it wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad promo by any means. Miz was honestly the standout of it. He had some really good jabs at Bayley, calling her like a Brock Lesnar and Sasha Banks being her Paul Heyman. So that was kind of funny. Miz was pretty good in the segment, but that's, it's Miz. What do you expect? Miz. And then the promo was interrupted by like Nikki Cross, Dana Brooke, Lacey Evans for a six-pack challenge, which Nikki Cross would win, so she is now the new #1 contender for the Women's Championship. It wasn't an awful match, but just nothing overly special here. But it looks like the feud going forward will be Nikki Cross versus Bayley and I guess Sasha Banks. Alexa Bliss obviously won't be involved because she was drafted to Raw. And other than that, there honestly wasn't anything notable on SmackDown. There was a big 8-man tag team match where the New Day teamed up with Heavy Machinery against the Revival and Rude and Ziggler. Forgot they were even a tag team. Shocking, right? And I guess that's to build up to the whole best tag team in the world tournament that's happening in Saudi Arabia next week. the faces won. It was just pointless. Nothing really special at all. I really hope that WWE soon learns to treat their tag team divisions like properly, because there's just nothing special there at all. The belts seem meaningless, and I don't think anyone's really looking forward to that match next week. And I mean, we all know they're not going to crown the best tag team in the world because Undisputed airs in NXT. And then we also had Shorty Gable take on Curtis Axel, and which was a really, really quick match. Shorty Gable won. And then it happened. He is now changing his name to Shorty G. And good God, it's so cringy. I don't like this at all. It's stupid. Why are you going to name a wrestler Shorty G? Chad Gable was a perfectly fine name. He's a great wrestler. Just let him go out there and do his thing. Why do you have to do this to him? There's literally people on that roster who are shorter than them. That's the funny part. I don't understand it. And it doesn't make sense. Why do they need to do this? Chad Gable was perfectly fine as Chad Gable. And I really hope this whole thing doesn't stick, but I have a feeling he's going to be elevated a little bit as Shorty G. He's going to have like maybe a 1-month feud with Baron Corbin, and then he's going to be right back down to main event level status. And we'll never see him. He'll be wrestling Mojo Rawley over on main event every week. And I just feel really bad for Chad Gable. He deserves a lot better than that. He's a very underrated talent in my opinion. And I just wish he got better, even if that meant like going to NXT or, being in a tag team again, because he was great with Benjamin. He was great in American Alpha. Even if he was in the Cruiserweight division now, I'd be fine with that. I think he deserves better than being called Shorty Gable and just short jokes and garbage. And then the only other thing that happened on this show really was Braun Strowman taking on Drew Gulak, who, keep in mind, literally like a couple of weeks ago was Cruiserweight champion. And Gulak tried to put on a whole PowerPoint presentation for Braun. Braun had wanted no part of it, and literally just squashed him in like a minute. And man, I just feel so bad for Gulak. He literally just lost the title to Lio Rush, and now he's on Smackdown, and the first thing to do with him is squash him and feed him to Braun Strowman. And that's pretty much what happened on the premiere episode of Smackdown on Fox. I was really hoping that this would be like a big turning point for WWE, but I mean, we also kind of hoped that when the Authority said that they were going to start doing what the fans wanted. We also thought things would change when the Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff announcement came out, and then we thought things would change with the Fox deal because they'd want things to be better in WWE because they're going to be like investing a lot of money into this and the whole deal and all that. I was just severely disappointed with the premiere episode of Smackdown. I was hoping we get something special at least, but I guess we already had stuff that was starting to get built up for Crown Jewel, and they kind of have to follow through with that. So are things going to change after Crown Jewel? I don't know. I'm starting to lose hope, and SmackDown and Raw are just really becoming a chore to watch. I hope that the draft was going to change that, but I very much doubt it is. Not at all looking forward to Raw now after that. And I just really hope things change for this company. And I know some people are going to be like, oh, why don't you just stop watching if you dislike it so much? Well, here's my thing. I dislike Star Wars The Last Jedi. I love the Star Wars movie. They're a huge part of my childhood, and they forever will be one of my favorite movie genres of all time. Just because I didn't like Star Wars The Last Jedi does not mean I'm not going to go and see The Rise of Skywalker next month. Just because my favorite hockey team, the Ottawa Senators, are god-awful right now, and I don't feel like really tuning into their games. I still do, and I still have hope, and I hope that the team is going to get better, maybe in like 5-10 years. Just because I'm complaining about the product doesn't mean I need to like stop watching. I just want the WWE to be better, because they still do have the odd matches and feuds and great things that are happening in WWE, but it just seems to be fewer and far in between now. Whereas if you look at something like NXT, it's perfect in my opinion. We get long-term booking, great matches all the time. They don't insult our intelligence. There's no stupid things like Shorty G. And I just wish that WWE could be more like that. And maybe it's going to take Vince stepping down for that to happen. Anyways, I'm not going to sit here and turn this into a JD from New York type of rant. But I was quite disappointed with the premiere episode for SmackDown, other than really the Bayley stuff. And I guess Shinsuke versus Roman didn't have like a bad match or anything. I just didn't like the finish and how it just led to a tag team match. I was hoping for something more out of that. But anyways, I digress. Hopefully things start to get better after Crown Jewel and building up to Survivor Series, I think is the next pay-per-view. But I don't know what hopes I have really. So that's going to do it for the video, guys. Let me know what you guys thought of the premiere episode of SmackDown on Fox. Like the video if you did enjoy, subscribe to the channel if you are new, turn on that notification bell to never miss an upload, and I will see you all very soon.